That is my latest hire. It's Clawdbot, and here's everything you need to know. It's even texting me the updates. This is a really big deal. Clawdbot is quite simply an AI automatic personal assistant created by Peter Steinberger. So before all of you with your conspiracy hats thinking this is some sort of big launch or concerted effort by us influencers, this is not sponsored. It's a solo dev doing his thing that's just got us all really excited. And the first thing you need to know is nothing to do with Claude Code, Anthropic or anything like that. It's literally just called Clawdbot. And it runs on your machine and you can interact with it either through the desktop UI or you can set it up with Telegram, WhatsApp, Discord, so you can actually text it or message it what you want it to do. The great thing about it, it has persistent memory as well, so it remembers everything that goes on in your life and it proactively does tasks based on what it learns about you, your behaviors, what you do for a living. And this is all on your local machine. Nothing is sent to any third-party services. It can control browsers, it has full system access, and you can extend it with a vast array of skills and plugins on their dedicated website, the Clawdhub, giving it additional access like Trello control, Slack, all of this stuff built from the community to extend on its capabilities. Now, you have every right to be concerned about something like this. It's top priority that you at least run it on some separate computer like I've got there, or an AWS server. It can even run on Raspberry Pi. It doesn't need a lot of power to actually run this thing. Before going and splashing out on all of these different technologies, you might want to run it on your computer just by being very careful and very specific about the tasks that you want it to do. I've set up a task every week to go to StreamYard, which is where we stream our podcast, download the latest local recordings and put them into my downloads folder so that they're ready for me to edit on the Monday. But I've also had it look at my calendar in the mornings at 8 a.m. to look at my day and give me any sort of feedback that it has on my overall day. So here under daily planning, it's got my day assessment. It's taking a look at all of the events in my calendar, give me some sort of focus and a difficulty rating. And that's all completely automated. Another thing I did this morning is I got it to check the nearest van rental place nearby me. So it's your personal assistant / automation tool that in some ways replaces things like NAN, but you can also get it to actually run tasks like create an application because it has access to Claude Code or Cursor or any IDE that you're running. If I'm out and about and I think of something that I want it to do or prepare for me as before I get back into the office, then I can just text it, let it know, and it's there for me, ready and waiting to go. It's so powerful. I'm just a couple of days into it and I can already see how this is going to be a real game changer with just my productivity, automating things that I do day in, day out that I can't be bothered to set up on NAN. But I think the biggest thing that I've done and the most impactful thing I'm going to be doing is my second brain. So it's collecting everything it knows about me, and every quarter and every month and every week, I get to look back at what it's learned about me and give me feedback, give me guidance from a business perspective on what it thinks I should do, things I should focus on. This second brain is just a really interesting way to use Clawdbot. Let's take a look at how to actually install it. So it's a one-liner here, a bash command that runs the installer here. You can also do it with npm, Hackaboard, macOS Companion here, but the one-liner should work for pretty much everyone. I go into my terminal here. I'm using Warp. Links for everything's down below. I run this. Everything should start setting up. I'm going to uninstall this because this is my main machine, but I just want to show you how it's done here. So as you can see here, safety risks, and this will be the first thing I say. Unless you've got a real good reason to go out and buy a Mac Mini, which everyone seems to be doing for this, I think they're just cosplaying CEOs at this point, but unless you've got a real good reason, this can absolutely run on a Raspberry Pi. This can absolutely run on a VPS on AWS, so a virtual private server, on DigitalOcean, which I've got links to down below, which you get free credit for. It doesn't need a lot of resources to run. The benefits of running on say a Mac is if you already use a Mac, things like Apple reminders, things like iCal, where you're really baked into the ecosystem. I'm not just talking about you can log into Gmail to access your emails if you've got Google Workspace, for instance, but you just access it through mail. Unless you're like directly tied to the Apple ecosystem, there's just no reason to go out and waste so much money on a Mac Mini, as cheap as they are. Or of course, if you want to run local models, which you can do, meaning it will be completely private. Let me know if you want to run through and setting that up. Ultimately, this does have root access to all of your files on your computer. It's a software on your computer and things like that. A lot of it can do through the APIs. The files that thing is downloading for right now, that's putting in my downloads folder. Technically, I could probably just get it to upload to Google Drive, but because it's on my Mac, I can put it in the downloads folder. It will sync with iCloud. You sort of get the picture of why you may or may not need a Mac Mini. So anyway, we are going to obviously say yes, but you just might want to start with a sandbox, and it's even got a website here that you can look into to actually start locking down what it can do. So we're going to say yes. I would probably go quick start for now, especially if you're just starting out. Now, you can use a lot of these, any of these services for the AI to do its thing. Now, I have an Anthropic one, which seems to be causing a lot of issues right now. If you've got a Claude Code Max plan, then you want to paste the setup token here, and then in a separate tab, run Claude setup token, and then knocking back in here, you're going to get a authorization token that you can then paste back into here. Default name. And then once again, I'm testing out Haiku at the moment. A lot of people are having a lot of luck with Opus 4.5. Honestly, everything seems to be working fine with Haiku, which is a faster and cheaper model. So up to you, experiment, choose a model that you feel comfortable working with. I'm going to go Haiku once again. Then you're going to set up the channels that it works within. Telegram is great because it has a whole bot ecosystem. I have a dedicated channel that I can message my Clawdbot from. WhatsApp, you're basically messaging yourself, and it's watching the sort of self channel. So if you use that a lot for whatever reason, sending yourself notes and reminders and things like this, then I wouldn't go with the WhatsApp route. Or if you have a separate number, you want to go set up a separate WhatsApp number and things like that, then you might go for the WhatsApp route. Discord, again, all of these are self-explanatory. I've not tried them all. So in this instance, I'm just going to go the bot API, the Telegram bot API. So if you open up Telegram and chat with @botfather and type /new bot, it will give you a token that you can then paste back into Clawdbot. I would ignore configuring skills for now, but if you go to yes, I would probably choose bun. But if you want to use npm, pnpn, whatever, npn is something that most computers will already have installed. I've got installed bun. You can look at some skills here. You can set password, Apple Notes, Apple Reminders, Google Workspace CLI, Google Places for finding destinations. That's what I used for checking for my van rental. Things like that. You'll have to then go set up API keys, especially for the Google one. You have to set up API keys, but you can ask Clawdbot to do that later on. So I'm going to skip for now. So he's setting up the Google Places API key, image gen, various things like that. Just Google how to get API keys for all these services if you want to set them up. I want a session memory, I want command logger, and it's going to do everything for me. Setting up a gateway, see hatching the TUI. I don't know what it means by hatch, but basically this is going to wake up Clawdbot, check that everything's working. If I knock back into here, you can see it says wake up my friend, and it looks like it's good. Basically, what you type in the TUI here in the interface here, you'll see on the back end. You can actually close this. It's totally fine to close now. It's set up. But now it's going to ask you who you are. So dump everything you think is important in here, and it will start to create and persist a memory about you. Now, what I'd recommend is downloading the Chrome extension here. Now, Clawdbot can operate its own browser, but it won't be logged into anything. So with the extension installed, we can run this extension install, and it'll give us some instructions here which involve going into developer mode. So I'm in Comet here. I can go to manage extensions, developer mode, load unpacked, and paste. Seems to not be working. So if I go to Clawdbot browser, extension. And that should be working now. Pin it, have a little look, turn it on. And now it should be able to control my browser and everything that I'm logged into on my browser. Again, you have to be okay with all this. Some people are, some people aren't, and that's the truth of it. This is susceptible to prompt injection, but I'm not going to be using this to go on any dodgy websites. I'm going to be using this to go on business-focused enterprise things like Gmail, things where these companies product, their livelihood is on the line, and they don't want to be going ahead and doing any sort of prompt injection on things. Now let's take a look at Clawdhub and browse some skills here. So these are all community focused. If we probably go to maybe installs, have a look what's going on. You've got some skills which we saw the Google Workspace one in there. Coding agent one here, so you can set off and for it to use Claude Code. Bird is for accessing Twitter if you feel okay giving it access to Twitter. You can start to extend the usage of Clawdbot to your liking. Give it a go. Give it a search. If you're using Home Assistant, you can get it to control Home Assistant. I quite like this one, the humanizer one here. So why don't we ask Clawdbot? In fact, I'm going to do it on my computer over there. So install humanizer skill. So I can see here that it needs some sort of setup from my part. So here we go. Let me try searching first. Installed, ready to use. Easy as that. So there we go. There's a quick look at Clawdbot, what it's good for, why you should potentially avoid buying a Mac Mini like all the other cosplaying CEOs. I'm really excited about this. I'm still discovering things and I'll share everything that I learned along the way with you. I'm sharing live updates over on my Twitter, which is 0x5am5, if you want to hear things that I discover as soon as they become available. But like, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, keep on vibing.